Good morning, everyone. I'm so happy to see you this Sunday. It's always a pleasure to be here. Unfortunately, we're having problems again with Rumble, so hopefully our producer can get that fixed today. If not, we will promise to upload that as soon as we can. So I'm going to go ahead and say hi to my Rumble fans, and thank you so much for your views. I really appreciate that. As I have seen, it's been getting a lot bigger. Thank you so much. Don't forget, please, to hit those likes and thumbs ups and share and follow. I really appreciate that. I hope you all are having a beautiful Sunday as we're here today. I really love this. We're going to get started this morning with what I always love to do on Sundays, and that's a prayer and scripture. So let me get that going for you. It's my favorite. Everyone, it's just my favorite. So let's hope that YouTube will be really nice to us today and let this play. So let me add this. There we go.
Father God, we thank you for this food. We ask you to bless it, make it nourishment to our body. Bless all the boys and girls all over the world to receive food in Jesus' name. Amen.
Isn't that just the most precious? I love to hear the children sing and the children pray. I thought I would play a beautiful song for you that I actually play for my students quite often. We do play the national anthem, and one of my favorite versions is one from one of the best singers I think there is out there. But I do love this version from Whitney Houston. So let me load that up. And YouTube is being very nice to us today. Thank you, YouTube. Appreciate that. All right. This is one of my favorites. I just want you to also pay close attention to the soldier who's holding the flag. Every time I see him, tears automatically start up in my eyes. So everyone, I hope you enjoyed this version.
Oh, say, can you see my arms early light? What so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. And the rocket's bright glare of the bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Say, oh, say that star-spangled banner yet waving o'er the land of free and the home forever.
Isn't that just one of the most beautiful versions? I love her voice. Hello, I'm seeing Facebook viewers this morning. Thank you so much for the likes. I appreciate that. And hello to everybody again. I hope you're having a beautiful Sunday. I'm Lady Hamilton, and you are in Headmaster's Homeroom. So today I am going to be sharing some scriptures with you. Let's get those going. Let me load those up. Today's topic is on education and wisdom. So I really love that. Let me pull that up. I've been really smart about making a PDF instead of sharing the actual, page where it flops all over the place. I'm sorry about that before, but I've been making a PDF now. So let's go with there. All right, our scriptures today. Proverbs 1:7. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. Fools despise wisdom and instruction. Proverbs 22:6. Train up a child in the way he should go. Even when he is old, he will not depart from it. Why am I having a problem with this word? Sorry, 712. For the protection of wisdom is like the protection of money, and the advantage of knowledge is that wisdom preserves the lives of him who has it. It's glaces. I'm sorry, everyone. Every once in a while, I have a word that I just stumble on. My students tend to laugh at me a little bit about that, but oh well. All right, Proverbs 18:15. An intelligent heart acquires knowledge, and the ear of the wise seeks knowledge. I like that one. 2 Timothy 2:15. Do your best to present yourself to God as one approved, a worker who has no need to be ashamed, rightly handling the word of truth. Proverbs 16:16. How much better to get wisdom than gold? To get understanding is to be chosen rather than silver. And Deuteronomy 11:19. You shall teach them to your children, talking of them when you are sitting in your house, and when you are walking by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise. I will be including those scriptures and all these links once I get my Rumble channel up and running. We'll probably have to load this there, but I include all of my links there. I will try to do better. I've been trying to do that on Twitter as well, and I will make sure, since the Facebook is under our media, my producer's account, we'll see what we can do. But if you want to find these scriptures and links, please just go to the Rumble channel, Liberty Rise everyone, and find those links there. So I hope that you have got your scriptures filled today. And like I said, my students usually tease me because every once in a while I have like a word of the day. It doesn't matter how hard I try, that entire day, for some reason, I can't say that word. So speaking of, that is what we're going to be doing today. I'm so excited that I have just been waiting and waiting to roll this out. And I thought that I would show you guys a new look that we've got going on here for Hamilton Liberty Academy. So, but before I do that, I want to talk to you about our sponsors. You guys know that normally on Sundays, I'm always cooking with this. I'm always talking about honey. And, even Nurse Patrick has told us that it is God's best medicine on earth. But I do. And some of the world's best honey I have ever tasted in my life is from our sponsor at Be Nourished. I mean, this is some of the most beautiful honey. This one is the raw honey. And you guys know that I use them. You know that I use them when we're cooking. Look at this one. This is the organic dragon fruit. Sorry, everyone. I just absolutely love it. And this one I use a lot with our dressings, our jalapeno dressing that I may do. And this one, you guys know I use a lot. This is the turmeric one. I love it because turmeric is so good for inflammation and things like that. And it just is not overpowering. It just has the most beautiful taste in it. So please, if you want to help our shop, that's one of the greatest ways you can do that, to help our producer keep our platform up and running so we can continue bringing these great shows to you. So with that being said, let me introduce you to Be Nourished.
Honey. It's one of the greatest gifts to man. With millions of wildflowers in every bottle, the nourishing power of honey is still yet to be fully discovered. Be Nourished Healing Products combines healing ingredients from around the planet to the purest honey from the island of Maui to bring magic to your taste buds. The best honey from the most beautiful place to nourish your body, mind, and soul. From our hearts to yours, be nourished.
And we're back. They truly are some great honey. And honey helps us not only with our allergies, it helps us with inflammation, it helps us with stomach, it helps us with heart. I mean, there's just so many benefits to it. And we will get Nurse Patrick back here one of these days, and he will talk to us again about wonderful foods, since that is his specialty, right? Wonderful natural foods that God has given us to actually do great things for our body. As I am a prime example of trying to eat as organically as I can. And when I mean that, I mean like locally grown, right? And it's just changed my whole entire body, going from being a wheelchair and having my legs paralyzed. And I'm not saying that I'm telling you to quit what you're doing. You know, I'm not a medical professional, but I can tell you that all the medications were just continuing to kill me, and just starting to change my diet and eat organically. It is amazing what God's food can do for you. Plus, of course, you cannot leave out God, because I'm sure that He is the biggest part of why I'm here with you today. So I just wanted to tell you, to the Facebook people that I'm seeing pop up, good morning. And you guys are always welcome to say something in the comments. As I do look at those, I give you a shout out and a hello, and anything I could do. Speaking of that, a great way to also help us out is to follow our producers media, so it's Liberty Arise Media, and share and get this out so that we can reach more of you out there. I love it and welcome it, as you are coming in. So today I wanted to introduce you. So if you don't know, I'm the headmaster of a nationwide online school. And I started this in 2021 because of what I was seeing, and multiple different avenues of what I was seeing. The biggest concern I had is when I was teaching high school in the public system is the fact that our youth are just not prepared to walk into adulthood. And I would have these teens, more boys than girls, just really being upset and feeling absolutely unprepared. I mean, the girls were too, they just had no idea what they were going to be facing. How much is rent? How much does it cost to live? Is there even a pathway for me? And these were, 11th to 12th graders, even though I taught all the way from 6th to 12th graders. But what concerned me is they were about ready to graduate and had no idea pathways forward. They didn't think they could go to college. They didn't know about starting their own businesses. They didn't know, I mean, they may want to be a basketball player, a football star, or they want to be a YouTuber, but they had no realities of what was coming next, how to even achieve those. In fact, they would just, cry, literally cry, and I do too, because I always believe that all youth are possible. And I would talk to them. I'm like, how come nobody has ever told you that they believed in you? And they would tell me that. And I'm sitting in a school full of 75-something teachers, and I'm like, you've never heard that? That someone believes in you? I have 3 disabled children, and trust me when I say they were given to me with a few weeks to live, basically, and now they're going to school and colleges and working jobs, and I have a son who's legally blind. Don't tell me that you're not possible, right? And I have some absolutely beautiful children that are doing great things. But to see this in our schools too, with nobody showing the pathways forward for how do I even fill out a FAFSA? How do I find scholarships? What if I don't want to go to college? What about trade schools? And is there scholarships for that? What about budgets? How much is it to rent an apartment or electricity or things like that? So here I am on Fridays teaching these kids economics and budget and how to do this stuff, and I just saw that this was lacking. This is something I grew up with. Maybe not to the extent that I'm providing. Sorry, everyone. Not to the extent maybe I'm providing, but pretty much but being able to understand what is a budget, so besides all of this stuff, I was trying to figure out why are these kids not learning this, but as I'm physically watching them getting pulled out of math class or whatever to go to social emotional learning courses or electives or things like that so that they could learn to make decisions based off of emotion instead of critical thinking. And this also alarmed me. Different things that I would see when we would have celebrate Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday, and the kids didn't think they had equal rights. And I'm like, what do you think these people were walking for, right? I mean, mentality and equal law and equal right is a whole different thing. I go, there's three different amendments that gave Black communities equal rights. Now, and then again, they fought during the civil rights movement so that everything would be equal. But they, didn't even understand that and even understand why we even celebrate that. And so I just kind of found it extremely alarming. I think a lot of parents saw this too, and with 2020, whether you want to call COVID a blessing in disguise or not, is parents saw what their children were not learning and what they were learning. And you take it to however you take it depending on your school. But the fact is our children are decades behind with no foundations to lead them forward. Now, my specialty is in integrated education. And that was what my master's, and I really started focusing on, especially having kids with disabilities and finding that through the arts. And when I say the arts, everyone, it's not just painting and color crayons. It is advertising. It is color theory and math. It is scientific microscopic formations, photographic, music, poetry, recycled materials. I could just go on. There's over 30 that I have posted on my social media, and I'll do that again. There's over 30 that I just list there that are just some of the biggest marketing, fields in our world that people don't realize. Besides digital design, advertising, marketing, those are some of our biggest fields. Well, those are art fields, and they're actually also under the art departments. So if you think, okay, what are you going to do with an art degree? Well, it really depends on what you're going to major in. Right? But integrated art doesn't mean that you're always painting or doing color crayons, although we do a lot of stuff that is actual artwork. We always try to incorporate something with our hands so the kids are retaining this information, building actual projects, and being able to give us a presentation so that we know that they've caught this whether it's a theory or it's a certain chapter or a semester, however our professors do this. It's really important. Another thing we do is journaling every day. Something that the kids, as they're learning, whether I do sketch notes, because I let them do that too, or they're writing it down. But we do this just totally different. Everything is about building retention, but giving them activities and things to actually design and different projects. It helps them retain this information so they can take it on with their future. So I had my website up, and not too many people really love that. As we see that our flag is kind of being not viewed in the best of light anymore. And I was like, we need a rebranding. And it's not so much just even that, because I will stand firm. I'm coming from a retired military family, and my husband is a great-grandchild of Alexander Hamilton. So when I say I have pride for my nation, you guys know I do. And the love for our flag will never die. But I started getting a lot more questions. What does integration mean? What does projects mean? What do you guys do that's different? And so I have a wonderful person that I've had on my show before that I spoke to because she has an absolute gift for website design, and I'll have her on sometime soon again to give her that recognition. But she worked with me, gave me almost like a sit down for 3 hours, asked me a whole bunch of questions she thought people might ask. And she came up with the most beautiful website. So I'm going to show you that today, because most of your questions will actually be answered just by the website. So it's really beautiful. I love that she's incorporated so many different things. So let me pull that up to show you, and we'll go over that. All right, everyone. Let me add that to our stream here. All right. Isn't it very beautiful? So I'm going to try to go as minimal as I can here. Hopefully There we go. Hopefully you guys can all see this. It's just absolutely, I think, really beautifully done. And it gives you these, not only can you click on these buttons and find out about home, about program, get involved, which we will, but then also, your pop down things to find out more about us. And I just love what she's done. We are a nationwide integrated private high school, although we are going to be testing out some younger grades. We started with high school because I feel it's really important. This is the next generation that's about to hit adulthood and hit the streets. And I'm telling you, they are not prepared to do so. As you guys all know too, and I will show you some stories here as well, is we see updates, an uptick in crime, and we see an uptick in suicide, almost double the rates with that. And this is something that I'm telling you, because they don't believe in themselves, have faith in themselves, or have a pathway forward, they're lost, confused, and they're making decisions based off of emotion. This is why we have to change that. We have to change a lot about our educational system, but these are things that I find very important as our youth are about ready to hit that certain moment in their lives. So she's at these bullet points. Why choose HLA? And if we don't go by Hamilton Liberty Academy, everybody, you might hear me say HLA. That is us. I love this, the best of both worlds. We combine the best parts of online school and the traditional classroom. We offer a convenience of tools and online learning with the personal touch of a face-to-face classroom. And like I said, it's even more live than what you guys see here because the students are live with me. They're interactive with me. Everybody's microphones are off. We're all on, like a Zoom channel together, doing projects, doing everything together. And I actually had a student say that this was way more interactive than the public school. And if you do not know this, our kids are going on to Chromebooks or iPads or whatever, starting now at first grade. As my neighbor is really wanting to pull out her child or is pulling out her child, and we might be testing out second grade because she came to me. And she's like, I'm done. The first kindergarten to first was horrible. And the daughter left leaving every single day like she failed. So this is why it's so important that we're doing this completely together. And another reason I love being online is because parents can watch. It's recorded, of course. You can watch it anytime. But if you want to see what's going on in the classroom, you can see what's going on in our classrooms. Your child is known by name and valued. Your child just isn't a name on the screen or another face in an overpacked classroom. Our small online classes allow us to get to know our students and customize their learning experience and tailor fit their needs. This is very true. And they interact with each other. They laugh and giggle and tease each other. And we even had a prom where these kids had the biggest yawner or the class clown. It was just great. It's just amazing how much they would laugh and really get to know each other. So we highlight that. You can rest without fearing that what your child is being taught. Like I told you, you can watch what we're teaching. Parents can absolutely watch and see what's going on. Again, we're live. And if you want to ask us for a video from a class, you absolutely can. We will share that with you because all of our classes are recorded. We also, this is a digital journal. This is what I was talking to you about before, is that we have the kids write and create a digital journal, whether you're taking class notes throughout the day or we're working on an assignment together. Everything goes into this digital journal, even your projects as you're creating them. We even take what's called process pictures. So, and we don't have homework. We do all of our stuff inside the classroom. And so this allows us to stop. Class is over. We stop a few minutes ahead. Make sure that you get all your notes in the journal. Make sure you're taking pictures of where you are in the process of your project, so that we can see the whole process from the beginning of of creating it all the way to the point where you're going to present it. And this goes in for our schoolwork that we're doing, our assignments that we're doing, any quizzes that you might have, any presentations you might have, all go into these digital journals. So not only can parents see this even on a daily basis, but this is one of the ways that, and your biggest grade here at HLA is turning these journals in. This is our best way of understanding the retention that you are receiving. How much are you understanding the subject or this chapter or this theory or whatever is being taught. This lets us know. And by presenting this back, it's amazing. By reverberating that, right, their attention and the critical thinking is just extremely higher. And it builds up every time. So we're very excited for that. Our goal also goes beyond graduation. We place a high value on education, but we also focus far beyond that. We aim to equip our students with practical life skills that will set them up for success for the real world. This is something that I've created that's new, that our seniors cannot even graduate from HLA until they have what we call an adulting 101 class. And so what is that? That's where we're going to teach you budget. That's where we're going to teach you household management. That's where we're going to teach you the basics of automotive, basics maybe of plumbing, economics, right? How to build a business, how to do your FAFSA. Where are you going to find scholarships, whether it's trade school or it's college? Getting to understand the cost, like I said, household budgets. But we spread this out through the year. It's a 1-year elective, but we have broken it down into many things so that these students are prepared for the next steps. Where do I find these things? How do I get prepared for these things? And so we feel that we want to make sure that you are moving on with confidence and faith in yourself. And this goes into a little bit more about us. Every child is unique, and we believe their schooling should be as well. Those as private as a high school right now, like I told you, are probably going to be testing out a few grades this year as well to see how we work and create our syllabus and our lesson plans for younger grades. But the lessons are live, just like I am right now with you, even more so because, again, the students are live with us as well. This means your child will be actively taught by certified teachers who invested in helping them learn and grow as an individual. We don't want our students to acquire knowledge just to pass another test. In fact, I'll talk about our testing here in a minute. Our goal is to help them retain the lessons through project-based learning. And the best part, you get to be their parent. You don't have to figure out how to do their math or write another paper to help them pass. We do have you covered. In fact, testing is extremely limited here at HLA. Let me see if I can go into this so you can see me a little bit bigger. Sorry, everyone. Extremely limited at HLA. And you might be like, what? But as I saw our kids, and we had the dissident teacher on a few weeks ago, we're learning that they're just taking tests, and you'll keep on taking that test until they get what's called a median score or a skill achieved, and they go on to the next level, just to make sure the school receives their funding and the kids have met that skill. And this is horrible. They're not retaining. They're learning to memorize a test. And so how do I change that? So testing here, unless, of course, you're going to do like a math quiz or a quiz in a foreign language, we want to make sure you are grasping some concepts. They're only worth 10% of your grade. These projects and these journals are going to be your biggest grades here and your biggest weight, because we really feel that that's the most important thing, that you're actually involved, you're actually building something, you're actually using that beautiful brain of yours to create, to think. And projects have been so different and we give you that opportunity too, if we come up with a project for you and you want to alter it somehow, talk to us. We'd love to hear your creativity. And so how do we do finals, right? So finals are like a presentation of the semesters, quarter, semester, and the final year. And the reason we do this is we take part of your journals, you look at what you got, you look at your projects, and you're basically putting that into a presentation form where you are taking over the class, teaching us what you've learned, giving us a presentation, and letting us know. And this is done, multiple times throughout the year, but we always have one for the final. And if you can teach me back what I've taught you, you've got it. And I'm telling you, these kids have got it way, way before they're giving their final presentations. For example, economics. I bring this up a lot, but I just really loved her class. I love it. But she taught these kids how to build food truck businesses. And they went from building the actual business plan to marketing to logo to menu design to literally budget, cost and analysis, P&L statements. I'm redoing cost and analysis because the economy basically was terrible during this time, when we were having a hard time finding food or food prices were extremely going up. Not that it's great right now, but you guys all know what I was talking about. So she made them go back and redo that because she goes, your costs are going to change based off the economy. And she wanted them to understand that. She also threw in real life with them, like you're a parent and your car broke down. And if you're trying to save to open up your business and you've got to deal with your family life, how do you manage between? And then at the very end, she had them presenting these and pitching these during a Shark Week. And I'm just like, it was unbelievable how these kids were prepared to really, truly roll off with a food truck business if that's what they wanted to. But it was even more than just a food truck. It's they know how to write a business plan now. So it doesn't have to be a food truck. It could be an advertising agency. It could be a construction agency. It could be a restaurant. It could be whatever these kids want to do. You know how to write a business plan. So I was really, this is what I mean about project-based learning and being able to present that stuff back to us so that we know that you have that. And that was economics class, everyone. So this is why we are doing things different. It tells us what sets us apart, right? No homework. Homework here with HLA. Some people are like, because I've seen students continue homework at home and then their parents are like, I thought you had no homework. So if they are choosing to finish an art project or a project per se, sometimes I will really frown on that because I want you to do it in class with us and I want to see what you're doing. But as an artist, I also understand that when you get caught up in that moment, it's very hard to just, okay, wrap it all up. So we have very limited homework. And if you're doing something most of the time, it's you, or you're practicing something. Let's say you're learning a foreign language. I highly encourage my students to practice, right? I mean, the best way to learn that foreign language is to practice every single day, as much as you can. So if they're at home on the weekends, just practicing Spanish, that's not necessarily an assignment. That's something I'm encouraging them to do as they're trying to learn a brand new concept. Or you might have a quiz on Monday in math, and maybe you're practicing a few of your skills or a few of the things that you need, equations or whatever you're doing. And that's just because you're studying for an upcoming quiz. But that we do not assign homework. So I find that great. So there's no testing really, and there's no homework thing. Everything is done inside the classroom together. And this is what I wanted to show you, if I can find that. Sorry everyone, didn't want to make you sick. Our mission and our accreditation is here too if you want to see about that. But I want to go about, this is brand new, everyone. So I am so excited. We're online school with live classes. We want that. If you want to meet our leadership, you can do that. See our curriculum. So this might be where we go and you learn more about our curriculum. So this is something that we are designing ourselves, even though we use things like Abeka as our foundational textbooks and so forth, because we're doing this integration and collaboration also through professors, by the way. When we did that economics thing and I sat in the classroom, and listened in on the teacher, I was so excited about that. And health also too. I mean, we took this child development even further and shared it between the teachers. We also have Friday meetings where we collaborate and say, what are you doing in each classroom to see how we can take this from each class to really hone this in and bring this real world concept in. But in health class, they were doing like paper dolls, as their children. And I loved it because if they even got a crinkle in the leg, that was a hospital visit and they had to write it down on the incident report and what would you do? And, I was like, this was absolutely beautiful. They had to write down how many times they changed their diapers, how many times they fed them. There are different moments in life. There are different periods, from 0 to 1 or from 1 to 3, these different avenues in their life, or I should say points in their life where they are very critical. And it was really amazing. And then presenting this in a collage format at the very end, because they actually had to draw their own babies, their clothing, their diapers. It was really beautifully done. And also it went along with economics. If she said you had twins, then you had twins in health class. If, she said, oh, guess what? She spin this wheel and they would call this I don't know if they call this the happy wheel. It was like a wheel of fortune, and I don't think they thought it was a wheel of fortune because every time it would spin, she's like, oh, sometimes it was good, but sometimes, oh, guess what, you're pregnant again, or oh, you haven't, like I said, your car broke down. So I don't know if they thought it was fortune, but it's real world. And being able to collaborate with my other professors was just, it's an amazing thing to really bring that in. But we want to make sure that, college may not be for everyone. And I know a lot of avenues for trade schools and scholarships for that, or maybe again, you're building your own business. So this is our thing. We want to make sure you have the necessary life skills and critical thinking to set them up for success, both in college or a career. We create a learning environment that's designed to help our students discover their passions and prepare them for the future with college prep and career readiness skills. You can meet required with 22 credits for graduation, or we do have honors here as well, which is 26 credits. And that's a lot more easily achieved than you might think, because I personally teach a history/English literature class that's combined. And because it's combined, it's an honors class. And our kids just have to take it. I sign them up for it anyway. It's nothing extra really special that you're doing. It's just a double class in one. You get the credits for both. And they're passing that with flying colors. And so why not graduate with honors if it could just be that easy? And then again, that also gives you a leg up if you're going to move towards college and things like that. I mean, not that you have to have it, because by the time you're done, we're teaching you how to write personal statements. We even have a volunteer portion where we like our students to do 50 hours of volunteer service before they graduate. Great way to put that on your CV. Also a great way to get a letter of recommendation. So that is built in. We have what's called an individual student plan. This goes for every student. A lot of schools just have what you call, maybe you understand what an IEP is, which is an individual education plan. But a student success plan for us is exactly that. What is our students' plan? What do they want to do with their futures? It's not my future, that I'm sitting here creating. It's their future. So whether they want to be a nurse, or they want to be an actor or a writer, maybe they want to be an engineer, we talk to them, and it might change, and we will update that as that changes. But that helps to guide us not only in what levels that they're actually reaching, right, as we are evaluating their math or their English and their reading scores or so forth, but we're also trying to steer them and help them find those pathways and scholarships and avenues to achieve that success for their future and to help them. Because as an educator, I always say it's my job to get them the foundations to build their dreams of their future. So we have an individualized student plan that we not only go over with the parents, they can help out with that. They can absolutely let us know how they want to change that, add that, give us more information about their student, because not every student learns the same way. But this gives us an ability to make sure that we focus individually on every student. Guess what, everybody? We're Monday through Thursdays. So you have 3-day weekends. Fridays, we meet together as a staff. That's where we collaborate. We go over our teachers' things. It also allows our teachers to grade. One thing I noticed in the public school system is that I never had weekends off. And it seemed like I was always grading, replying to emails, doing whatever, and it just was a big problem. Because you're teaching all day long, and then school's over, so you're either doing it late at night, which sometimes too, or you're doing it on the weekends. I had a superintendent that really loved to have Sunday meetings with us, that she wanted us to come to them every once in a while required. You're like, this is, when do I get to clock out? And no disrespect to your students, but our teachers need to find the rest as well, and so do our students. So I really love this. Again, our teachers do not have Fridays off. You can always reach them. Parents, on a Friday, it's a great day, actually, to reach our professors. But students have Monday through Thursdays off. Monday through Thursdays they're in school, and they have Friday through Sunday off. All right, I wanted to make sure we've gone over this. We have this, like I said, this Adulting 101 class for our seniors. Basic life skills, gardening, budgeting, sewing, automotive, household operations, and more. Also college prep, right? Where we're going to get those And also our volunteer aspect will go into Adulting 101 too. They will be receiving their credit for doing volunteer service in the community. We went over digital journals and what those look like, and we've even been able to put on here some lesson plans for you to see what does it look like in our actual classrooms, which guess what, everyone? We will actually share with the parents. We post that in our classrooms. We post the syllabus, we post lesson plans for you. We do not hide anything from parents. If you want to know, we absolutely are excited to share that with you. We're not trying to hide anything. As we're seeing in schools right now, they're trying to hide a lot. And I don't like that. I think parents need to be completely involved. These are your children. All right. I wanted to go to our program. You can find out about our tuition here. It's broken down. Our tuition is only $4,000 a year, roughly $2,000 a semester, and hopefully we're going to be able to come up with some beautiful scholarships or grants for everyone. And speaking of that, it's a great way you can help, whether you have children or not. We have families that need some scholarships and maybe can't afford, would love to come, but can't afford it all. What a great way to go help another family out in this nation, right? Especially as our kids are struggling in schools. You don't know whether they're being bullied or they're just so far behind or it's just not a right fit for your family. But if there's a way you can donate, you can definitely do that too. And I will show you that here later. But I just wanted to let you know that would be a really great way to not only help out me in the show and my platform, but also help out our youth, especially help out our youth, because this will go. Anything you donate, even if you want a scholarship in your name, reach out to me. We could do that too, because we really want to make sure that our kids can afford to come. Future kids can afford to come. So we are not funded by the government. I should say that right now. I don't even go after government grants. I've spoken about the title programs that run our public schools. They are laws. And not that I don't go by those laws, I just don't want them controlling my school. And as we can see that we have problems in our curriculum right now in our public schools and what's being taught, that's actually done by title programs, Title I and Title III. I was just reading about again too. That's a very interesting one, but Title IX especially. And our funding, again, for our public schools, it is somewhat state taxes. But ever since they decided to federalize our school programs and make sure that every school had the same programs to offer, and that was really started with the No Child Left Behind, is everything gets funneled up to the DOA, and the DOA funnels it back down to every public school to make sure everybody's receiving the same funding for the same programs. It was supposed to bring an equality for everyone to receive that. But as we still see that there's major struggling, because if you happen to be in an area where parents can help out or you have extra funding for school programs, they're getting the extra achievements that maybe you don't see in other cities. But the title programs and the DOE and our federal government is what's actually paying for our public schools. So look into that, everyone. I've shared that on my podcast before, so you can go find that where I actually go over that and read that with you. Just look up Title IX with Headmaster's Homeroom and you will see. But that is a problem that we need to know about because it's law. And again, it's not that I do obey the laws, but when you're literally controlling curriculum and books that you may or may not want read in your school, you decide. And this is why we're here, offering something different. Our curriculum, I've gone over that too. We're accredited. You've seen that. Isn't this beautiful? Everyone, this is just absolutely beautiful, this website. I couldn't be more thrilled. If you guys had seen it before, you can know that it is completely different. Completely different. All right. I wanted to find the one. And again, I'm getting to just trying to find the, let me see, program, curriculum. I was looking, maybe if I just do program. It was the We Read, not We Read, sorry, the I Do, We Do, and I know it's on here, so we might just have to go through each one of these. Our program, we got our program here. Let's try that. I have instruction as we've gone through that. There we go, everyone. The I do, we do, you do method. I was so glad that she was able to put this on here. What does that mean? This is one of the methods that we actually teach by. It's I do it first, or the professor does it first, and we actually show you what the project, or we create the project with you and show you how to accomplish that, or a version of it, again, because these kids are designing their own versions. Then we do it together, where we literally work hand in hand, and I'm watching it. Everybody's on cameras. I will even stop and make you take pictures. I'll stop and have you show. Even when we're doing essays and stuff together, I will stop and make you share your screen with me. If you got multiple tabs up there, I don't want people cheating. I've seen a lot of times now that you basically can have your phone with you and just cheat that way, or have different programs write essays for you. No, I'm actually watching them write. I will make them often share their screen with me. So I make sure that you don't have 50 million tabs up. You can have Grammarly up there. I love Grammarly. And that also helps you find out if you are sealing your work or not, too. So, that's a big ordeal. We don't want you copying. We don't want you stealing anybody else's work. We want you creating your own. This is why we do things together. And then 3 is you do. So you're doing it, but it's more of you presenting it. So by the time we get to the you do part, you're presenting it in class. You have all your progress pics. You got your final picture. You have, whatever you've created, whether it's a program, a commercial, a sculpture, whatever you're doing. Building a nation, we've done those kind of things, history reports, all kinds of stuff. But we're doing it together. So I get to see, or our professors get to see, every single moment that you're working on a project. And I really love this. I do, we do, and you do method. And you can read more about that, everyone. Again, you can see here some projects, right? Whether we're cooking in culinary class, we're doing science projects, we're doing sculpture. And yes, we all cook together in culinary class. I'm also teaching that this year. I'm very excited about that. And you know what? It's one of the things I think is my favorite, speaking of science projects, is I'm not a big, fan of like F's when I say you fail. Okay, that's not what I mean. But I do like it sometimes when projects don't work out. I think that teaches us more sometimes than when projects just go so smoothly. Because, and they laugh at me and they joke and they're like, oh, you're just crazy. Why are you so happy that failed? I go, because now we get to figure out how to make it work. Not every experiment works the first time. Most of them don't. So how are we going to fix this project? And we will redo it. And we'll work together to make sure we find out what went wrong, and then how we're going to work towards a different result. So this is what I love when I say that somebody has failed at something. Not that they do, but every once in a while, I was just thinking of a volcano experiment one of my high schoolers is doing twice now. And even though it's done somewhat, it's just never come off like what she has seen in like the YouTube video or how it's described. But we've tried twice, and worked on it, and okay, we're missing this. Or guess what? They don't make Mentos, regular Mentos. We couldn't find anywhere, at least in our area. So that's a big ordeal. If you get like the gummy ones or a flavored Mento, it does not work the same as she's trying to produce this foam in her volcano. But we learned what did not work. And again, as you can see, they're taking pictures of their work or with their work, the progresses of their work, and being able to present that with us. And that's just some of my favorite time is watching their presentations. All right, socialization. Like I said, I had someone say that we are more interactive than a public school. If these students, and I saw this in a public school myself as I was a teacher there, you're sitting in front of a computer or a tablet, iPad, whatever it might be, and working on, reading what they have or watching that video or taking that test and taking that test and taking that test, you're really not intermingling with your peers. And so when she said that, I said, how is that? She's like, well, I get to talk to everybody in class, and it's the smaller classroom sizes. And we get to joke, we get to know each other. Plus, we go on field trips together, whether sometimes virtually, but sometimes, we try every year to meet at a location so these kids can meet peers, usually a leadership and education program, something for their future. And I find it very exciting that they get to meet in person. But this is also just having this ability to be live and giggle and talk and, hey, what are you doing over there? Whatever. Not only does that bring a huge socialization to our classroom, but I also ask, that you go and do something with your community. And we'll get down into that too. But I just found that it was amazing how much time we're spending together outside of even school together, where they were talking or FaceTiming each other or, right, definitely texting each other left and right. But it just really built a great network between them, a lot more than I saw in public school. What about sports? This is a question I get all the time. People want to keep their kids in public school because of sports. Well, I don't know if you know this, but regardless whether you go to public school or not, you pay the taxes for that, right? And whether that's coming from the federal government or not, you're still paying taxes towards that, so your kids can go to that public school and be in those sports programs, regardless if they attend there or not. That is your right. Something else we do too is I love when you get involved in your community sports. My own daughter plays the community sports. She has a blast, and I even give you credit for doing community sports. So she's done soccer and softball, and now she's doing volleyball, and you could do karate even. I mean, we are really big on being involved in your community, not only with volunteer service, but again with their sport. So if you were doing that, you would document it like no other in a journal, take pictures, and we have a little bit of writing assignment goes into your journal, what you learned, or what about team building, things like that. But that counts for credit here at HLA. But regardless, whether you go to community or not, you can still go and participate in your public school sports team and go to private school. So I don't know if your parents knew that, but I would also consider giving you credit for that as well, because I know that's a huge part of our youth's lives, and I would never want to take that away. So know that. So we definitely highlight and love our kids being involved in the community. We've gone over integrated classes. Again, I talked about how history is integrated with English class, making it an honors course. And we did projects like Build Your Own Nation or Follow the Money. We did that during the wars, and we did it on teams. And then again, I'm actually watching them with their writing skills. We do creative writing. We do creative artists and authors when we study U.S. history. And then we do world authors when we're doing, of course, world history. And we even celebrate in U.S. history and American English Lit. We celebrate even current authors of today. And I love creative writing. It gives, it's a great way to welcome you into the 4 Englishes that you need to learn before you get into college prep for that, college writing. Because creative writers, a few of my very favorite, I'll tell you one is Ayn Rand. Whether you like what she writes about or not, one of the greatest things about her writing is her descriptiveness. I cannot tell you the beginning of every single chapter. It's like literally you can walk right into the scene because you're imagining it. It's written so well. You can absolutely imagine everything around you. She describes it just so beautifully. And it may not be a beautiful scene, everyone, so don't think that. But I'm just the way she writes, you can visualize everything that might be in that scene. And I just find it really great. So I really love to highlight creative writing, and especially when you're first starting out with your writing before we get to college prep. All right. Sorry about that if I'm making everyone sick. Our Get Involved page. This is a great thing that she has. We have a newsletter that you can sign up for. We try to put those out every quarter. And usually they're made in our journalism elective class. So is our advertisements here. We're going to have to update our advertisements this coming year. So with the new web page, I love that. Can't wait for our students to see what they do with this coming up next school year. You can volunteer. I'm always looking for volunteers, whether you're coming to class to teach about a specialty. And everyone should know I do this on Fridays, like my Friday show. I'm always highlighting someone going, how do you guys do this? How do you start this? If somebody was thinking about being an author and I'm interviewing an author, how would they go about doing this? So this might be a way of your giving back too, is coming and to the school and maybe being a guest speaker, showing our students how to do your job. What does it take to achieve the career that we're highlighting and the career that you have? I love that. Or if you want to help us get out the word by volunteering that way, that's a great way too. But there's a multiple amounts of ways that you can help volunteer. And then we have got a donate here as well. This is what I was talking about that I would share with you guys. There's multiple ways that you could do. The two best, I'm going to tell you right now, I do have PayPal, but guys, I'm not a fan of PayPal per se, but if that's your only means, I get it. But I really love Give, Send, and Go and Cash App. And our links here are live. So you can either go to Cash App and give to Hamilton Liberty that way. And remember, we are a nonprofit. So we can actually give you a letter of your support for your taxes. So just reach out to that and we'll be able to provide that for you. And or you can click on the Give, Send, and Go and help support us that way. You'll see a beautiful picture of our three girls on there. Well, three of our students on there. That was at a field trip that we took them all to in Dallas, Texas. That was very fun. To an event, a Turning Point event. Sorry, everyone. It was a very great event where they got to spend time with each other, learning about being future leaders of tomorrow. So there are multiple ways here. Like I said, we also have PayPal, or you can just email us, and we'll let you know other ways for you to give. And I've had all different kinds of donations. I've had donations for our microscopes, and our kids all get microscopes every year. Believe it or not, we don't just use it for biology. We use it for geology. We use it for different kinds of art forms when we want to magnify something. Health and nutrition when we're looking at plant life. And we take photos through our microscopes. We do paintings from the photos we see from our microscopes. But we love using them to explore. So our students definitely get one of those. But we had somebody donate the past few years just for microscopes alone. So that was awesome. But thank you so much. And that's a great way to help support us. Get back to this. We're just going to go back to home. I hope that you guys, and I just love the pictures in here. She's been able to incorporate our students. She's been able to incorporate our field trips on here. And some of the projects that we've been doing, we're going to be working on, I think, a project page as well. But I am just ecstatic at how beautiful this is and answers so many questions. So grateful for you guys now to tell people and family members or friends and stuff about an amazing nationwide online academy. If you have a student that is not quite in high school, please reach out still, because I'm very interested in talking to you. Again, I said that I am going to be testing. Let me remove this. Testing some different grade levels out so that we can move forward, and we're working backwards, everyone. But we really feel that our teens are in dire need. And I know that this craziness is starting at elementary. I get that. But it's also very hard sometimes to have a younger student, especially kindergarten, first grade, online on a computer, whether I'm live or not. We're working on projects. And I understand when parents have to have jobs and can't necessarily be there with their kids as they're going to school all day long. Another reason why we focused right away with teens is because they can be, even though we're with them, we're there. Parent doesn't have to be behind their back at all times or by their side at all times. They can be if they want to, but they don't have to be. And there's a huge difference. And then when I was doing research in graduate school, and again, this is in 2020, about integration and retention, the high school dropout rate was unbelievable, where we had maybe 20%, graduating. So many dropouts, and I'm like, what in the world? And not in every school. I was only doing a few select schools in my research, but in the nation, we might have 60, 70% that are just graduating, at least even graduating with decent grades. And I mean, a D is not the best grade. I mean, they're just barely getting by, everyone. So, and they may graduate, but is that even acceptable? What did they actually learn? And I was really wanting to know why. Why are they dropping out? Why are these rates so high? 10, 15% dropout rates. Why are they so high? And it's because the kids, like I said, they go onto a computer, they're just learning to memorize. They're learning how to handle life based off of emotions all the time. They're overstimulated with all the social media and the phones all the time. And they don't see a future because no one's teaching them the pathway forward. No one's telling them, I believe in you. You want to start that business? Well, let me show you how. Or I believe you could go to school for that. Well, let me show you where and how. Oh, your parents don't make enough money. Do you know about FAFSA and grants and scholarships? Let me show you how to get a full ride. I mean, it's just not being taught. And I found this to be, something very alarming. So this is why I focused on how do I build retention? How do I get them to engage in their classrooms, have fun, think school is not only a learning tool and a preparation for the future, but to enjoy school. And that's why I did art integration. And again, it's not just all about painting, it's so many different things, from, again, poetry to drama to dancing to music to advertising, color theory and math alone. When you change, and I work with autistic children, when you change the color of a paper or a pen to do math, it's amazing how much more they will retain. And this is something I personally witnessed in a classroom when I was being taught math in my undergrad. I actually had a professor that did this and showed me the first, and it could have color theory probably he was already in, since he knew about it, of course. But every single different formula had a different color. Addition would have, let's say, red. Subtraction was blue. Multiplication green, and division was orange, or whatever color markers he had, right, for the expo board. And as he would do each different problem a different way, when he got to an addition section, he wrote it in red. If it was a subtraction, he wrote it in blue, and he kept consistent with that. And not only did it separate the math problem so you knew what you were doing right away, you're like, oh, that's you add, or oh, you subtract. But it completely changed the way you focused on the problem. And when you have children with severe disabilities like autism, they definitely speak in their own way and they look at things in their own way. And in public school, when I taught my students who had disabilities, I had multiple students that had autism and one child that barely spoke at all. I mean, ever to anyone. But when I was doing this different kind of color things with them and we'd play around with numbers or whatever, and I would find out that they, wouldn't do math or things like that, I had the EC director come in. I was like, let me just show you something. And these kids were doing basic math by just changing the colors. The student that didn't speak, because of art, he was able to draw anything verbatim. You show him a picture and he could just draw it as if it was a photocopy. It was unbelievable. And he was able to start speaking by the end of the year and communicating just because of the multiple lenses of art. We're creative people, everyone. We really are. And we've been writing our history down through art since the dawn of time. If you think of cave drawings, this is one of the ways we've documented our history is through art. And one of the biggest ways we've documented our history is through art. Our language is art. You guys might not think of speaking a language as art, but it absolutely is. They say if you speak multiple languages, it increases the intelligence that you have. And the way you analyze things changes the lenses that you can view things through. It expands your mind. So, I mean, you may not think that they create the alphabet. That's art. That's art. The way we write it, cuneiform, calligraphy, cursive writing, that's art. Music, mathematical in nature, but it's also art. And these are things that, whether you're sculpting and creating pots, another way that we've had a record of history, that's art. And so I'm very grateful for this, but we're creative people. And the more that we can actually have projects and keep busy and be able to think, what's it going to take to achieve this goal? Or we're looking into an assignment going, I'm seeing all different sides of this. What is the actual truth of this? Using that to build critical thinking. Because I don't want our youth going into their futures based on emotion. I don't want our youth killing themselves because they're completely lost. They don't know their sex. They don't know what to call themselves. They don't know their pathways forward. They don't know their math. They don't know how to read. I've seen this too in my seniors when they can't even tell me the number 10,000 and read it is 10000 in a public school versus I would even take 10K, 10 grand, something. Couldn't read it. I mean, our levels are so far behind, and it's not just COVID that did this family. It's just not, it's been bad for over a decade. And we have to do something because we don't want to lose our youth to whatever you might want to call it. We want to give them a firm foundation and faith in themselves to know that they can become great. This is why I love this saying of I believe in all youth, or all youth are possible. Because I don't care if you come from a poor background or a rich background. I don't care if you've come here from a different country or not. I don't care what color of the skin you are. I don't care your preference or your religion per se, because I believe, that, and I shouldn't say per se, it doesn't matter to me because I believe in you. I believe in these youth. And my main job is to help you get focused on the right pathway that's for you. And, it's up to your family to help guide you in those matters of who you are personally, or the foundations of your religion per se. Do I believe in God? Absolutely. Do I believe in my Savior? Absolutely. Do I talk about that? Yeah, these kids absolutely know I believe in God. I talk about it all the time, like the Creator created you. You're never alone. How wonderful just even have that thought that you're never alone, that someone's always on your side, and we're on their side. But we are definitely, a Christian foundation school. I am not here, like I said, to preach it or teach you about that, but my students all know how much I believe in my Father above and how grateful I am that he helped me build the school. And I promise you that. This is absolutely 100% because he told me, and talked to me about building a school to help our youth. I never thought I'd be a high school teacher. I thought I was going to be this artist. And I always joke that I'm an artist and it's one of the most rewarding things I've ever done in my life. So I look forward to finding out more about your families. Please reach out, and you can reach out. You can see there was multiple contact us. And we'd love to speak to you and see how we could be a great fit for your family. So I wanted to share that with you guys and introduce you to our new website. Again, it has been done so beautifully, and you can find us on all the social medias, right? Whether it's Facebook or Twitter. Well, no, we don't have a Twitter yet. We're going to be working on that one for the school. But you can find us on Truth and Gitter and Gab and Facebook. I don't know where else. I'll probably miss LinkedIn, sorry. Then also I will be having one up on Twitter here soon. So I will be working on that. But I am so excited to have these platforms for you, and you can find them again at Hamilton Liberty Academy. But also in journalism class, our students make our commercials. And I've had a guest on before that is a speed painter. And that's not my forte. I'm an oil painter, and I'm going to show you that here in a minute, right? But it takes me a long time, especially when I'm doing glazing and stuff, because you got to dry and stuff. But to have this student be able to create not only this ad, but this beautiful artwork that's now our mascot. Well, our mascot's always been a stallion that we call Liberty. But to have her create this beautiful artwork and advertisement for us in a matter of, I don't even know how many minutes it took her. It's absolutely beautiful. So let me show you this commercial. Introducing you to HLA. Isn't that done well? I'm so proud of her. And she did that drawing in one setting. It was just the one, I was like, wow, I love our students, and that she created that ad for us in journalism class. So very happy. And they do a news, not only the newsletter, but they do a newspaper too. So I'm real excited about that as well. And we usually share that in our newsletter so that you get to see their newspaper. Because they were also one of the reasons I have my podcast is because it's good to watch the news. I get it, right? But I never see any good news. And they were bringing that to my attention. Like, you never saw any happy stories. And I am so thankful to my producer, Scott, because on Fridays, he lets me highlight others, and showing you what people are doing in their communities, whether they're starting a program or they're running for office or they have a brand new business. They're an author, they're an artist, it's so exciting. So if you want to see them, please come and check me out on Friday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you have a business or you're doing something in your community, I want to know, right? Reach out to me and let me know. And you can find me at Lady Hamilton Art on the social medias. Now that you'll find on Twitter and Truth and Getter and Facebook and so forth. Just reach out and you can find me there. And I would love to hear from you. You can put it into the chats again in Rumble or whatever in the chats below, the permanent ones. I do go and read those. Another way to reach out. And then if we're cooking and stuff too, I always like to hear you guys say, you've tried it, it worked for you, what you thought about a recipe or something I'm teaching you. Would be really wonderful to hear back from you as well. So I love to read your comments. And I've received some really beautiful words. Thank you so much. It really does make my day. You guys have been so kind. Please remember a good time to remind you, please remember to hit that like button, those thumbs up, whatever it might be. Please hit the likes so that it really helps us out. Follow us, share us out. That helps me get the word out, right? Especially with this program too. I shouldn't say that, but with this program, if you know families that are in need of a difference and want a different education, please share this video out, because I would love to speak with you and see how we can help your family and help your children, get a better education than what they're giving now. I wanted to share a few articles with you today, whether you've seen them or not. But let me add them to our stream here. One second. Oops. Oh, I don't care about that ad. Sorry, everyone. Let me close that ad. All right. One word in Kentucky's school ban on gender, sexual orientation lessons could undo part of law. So a piece of the Senate Bill 150, hotly contested GOP primary bill that Republicans argued protected children and parents, but Democrats. So the Department of Education in Kentucky says that the use of the or instead of and in a bulleted list of prohibited items allows school districts to teach students about sexual orientation and gender identity if they so choose. Just so that you can understand. So this is what I keep telling you guys. This is Title IX. This is Title IX, and it's been strengthened to do that. And this means your elementary children, right? And this is what I have a certain problem with. Whether you are, let me get rid of that. I have no problem with what you want to do basically as an adult, per se. And I will definitely own that word this time. Right? If you are doing something that's going to be like being pedophile or pedophilic, or you're going to expose these children to certain things that I consider pornography in your adult life, it's no different than I think than exposing them to extreme violence. There are certain limitations where we say, okay, that's the line. Okay. If you are straight or you're gay or whatever in your life, I have no problem with you doing that and being that. That's your decision as an adult, right? But to confuse our children at the ages of from little on, they don't know anything about that. They don't know whether they are gay or straight. They just know that, hey, they don't even the difference in color with their friends. That's something that's taught to them as well too, with this division and hate. I mean, look at some preschoolers or toddlers, right? They don't see color. They're over there, pulling each other's hair, picking each other's nose, sharing, whatever, toys in the mouth. They don't see that kind of stuff. And this is something, again, that's just all taught and caused by division and hate. So let the kids learn. If they don't know how to count and read, we need to teach them how to count and read, not confuse them with, and again, I'm also not a fan of pills and medication, whether it's ADHD or puberty blockers. Let the kids be kids. And this is where I say, and Title IX is now making sure that this is in our curriculum. And I have told this before, but I have seen this. My neighbor's grandbaby was given books that there's no way a 5-year-old should have seen this. And it was called Queer Theory, which is a comic book version of two men, having a sexual relationship, literally step by step. And so, at least the part that I saw, it might be more, but I was alarmed at why a 5-year-old was getting this book. So this is happening, and it's happening because of Title IX. Another one I wanted to share with you. If they think that you're going to know about this, is one of the reasons I'm very big about sharing my curriculum with you, so that you can see exactly what we're teaching you, or we're live because I want you to see exactly what we're teaching you. This is breaking. California bill would charge any parent who doesn't affirm transgenderism with child abuse. Go California. I don't even know that state, right? A recently amended California bill would add affirming the sexual transition of a child to the state standard for parent responsibility and child welfare, making any parent who doesn't affirm transgenderism for their child guilty of abuse under California state law. So when parents don't have rights and your school is taken over, again, I'm not saying when you're an adult, if that's something that you want to do and you want to transition, hopefully you've done enough research to understand exactly what that entails, the surgeries that entails, the hormones that entails, the afterlife that entails. As I have seen different articles from people who have tried to detransition or have transitioned, not realizing that it's a multiple thing that you have to continue to do to remain that sex. I would highly encourage you to look into those processes. But if you're going to physically alter your body in any way, you should have the understanding, the critical thinking, and the research to know what goes into it, what that life entails, what that life looks like after having those, and if that's going to be a commitment. Because a lot of times when you make a surgical, when you have surgeries like that and a surgical alteration, there's no going back. And there's definitely, even if you detransition, I don't think you can necessarily go back to your birth status, not that your birth status, I mean, you're always a boy or a girl, but I mean, your physical body status is that. I mean, you've literally completely harmed your body or altered your body in a way that how can a 5 or a 6-year-old or a 7-year-old or even a 12-year-old make that decision? It takes a lot more research. Again, I'm not against what you want to do as an adult, but there's no way our children have the mind or the understanding to make those choices for you. And as parents, you do have the right to your children. And I'm really sad to start seeing this getting taken away more and more. As we can see now, California, if you don't agree with this or you don't allow your child to transition, you could literally be arrested for child abuse. My job is just to teach these children how to be great leaders of tomorrow, making sure they have the foundations they need to succeed, not built off emotion, but to build off of critical thinking and retention, to know how to research whether you want to make that choice or not in your life, but to know exactly what to do and the research and how to find it. I don't want any of these youth making emotional choices, right? It's horrible. Can you imagine living your life with every choice is based off of emotion? You're lost and they're lost. And where do they turn to? Violence and crime. We have to make a difference, everyone. So if you can do something in your community, do something with your children, keep talking to school boards if you can, help fight this kind of stuff off. But if I can be a choice for you, it's an honor and a pleasure. Please reach out. It is really, like I said, it would be an honor to speak to you and your family and to see how Hamilton Liberty Academy can be a new part of your life. So I also said that I was going to, let me remove that, everyone. Trying to stop sharing. There we go. So I could show you, I have a new painting. I'm going to say it's not 100% finished, close, but I have to go with what's called a glazing process. And before I seal it and give it the final tones, because it's oil, it takes time to dry. When I lived in Arizona, things would dry a lot faster. Still took time because it's oil. But here in a more humid environment, it takes longer. So, but it is pretty well done. And I'm so pleased. I've been working hard on this since Easter. As I prayed, I really wanted to get to know our Savior. I love the show The Chosen. I've been thinking a lot about the resurrection, at Easter time. And this idea popped into my head. I've never done one. I've done of people multiple times. If you look at Lady Hamilton Art, that's another way, guys, you can support us if you want some artwork. All my proceeds from my artwork go to sponsoring a student and giving them a scholarship to come to school. So again, that's ladyhamiltonart.com. You can find that in my links. But if you're interested in one of my paintings, and we'll be updating that website soon, but just reach out and we can talk about my paintings. But it's another way to give and have a beautiful piece of artwork. But I've done humans before, but I've never ever done something that was, you knew who they exactly were. So I had to do a lot of praying on this one, as I touched the canvas. I'm a little nervous, but I'm pretty excited how this hand came out. So let me change my screen to show you. Now I'm going to show you a picture because the lighting here is just horrid. But I have been working and it looks like crooked, and that's why I'm going to show you a picture of it. But this is my picture of the Savior in my new, I call them references pieces, right? They all have a story. This is done on the back. Scriptures are on the back. I have my collage pieces, and then I finish off in oil painting. And these are quite large, as everyone can see. As I can stand up, you can see that they are quite large. So it takes me a while to make them, but I'm so thrilled how this turned out. I am so thrilled. We just have to go through some sealing and some glazing. And this is my version of the Christ. Absolutely love it. Let me change this here back to my camera because I will show you a picture. Let me just present that. It's really interesting here too, because with me being on StreamYard, I have to turn certain lights off, behind me or in front of me, or I look washed out. It's just really interesting. So let me just click this up so everyone can see this. There we go. Oops, let me put that back. All right, and let's add this to the stream. See, it's much better. When I take all the glare and everything, you guys can see it much better. But this is my beautiful new picture of our wonderful Savior. And I really love our Sundays because I really tried to bring that spiritualness to us, especially with our prayers and our scriptures. I think of, and everything I do, I always pray before every single podcast I have. I pray all the time, everyone, but before my podcast even, because I'm hoping that I'm always honoring, God as I'm speaking. And I hope you guys enjoyed that. I'll be posting that soon on my social media, so you get to see that. It looks like it's pretty dry and about ready for its first coat of sealing. And so that's exciting. A couple layers of that. And it really takes these flesh tones and hones them in and seals everything in really beautifully. But again, you can go to Lady Hamilton Art. If you're interested in any of my artwork, that goes 100% to support our students here at the school through a scholarship. So I appreciate that, everyone. Other ways to support our show. I always say, somebody buy my producer a coffee. As simple as even a cup of coffee, everyone helps out our platform. Rebel Rants helps out our platform, right? But yes, go to buy me a coffee /Scott Adam, right? And that really helps out and keeps us being able to bring you these beautiful podcasts that we're trying, whether they're the news. I don't know how beautiful the news is lately. Our producer's doing his absolute best to bring it to you, though. He's doing a really great job, so you can check him out on Liberty Arise on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I come right on after him on Fridays, so sometimes I don't come on exactly at 7. because we've noticed that if I do, a lot of the channels won't click on because we're overlapping. So I have to wait sometimes till about 10 after. So know that I'm still coming on Friday nights. And then Sundays at noons, I get to bring you Sunday solutions, whether we're growing gardens or we're raising chickens, we're doing business plans, we're making salad dressings. Next week, we'll be doing something very special for Father's Day. I did one when we honored our veterans, and then we're going to be honoring our fathers. And I have the most special guest coming on. We have a beautiful musician. His name is Dave Martin, and I cannot wait to introduce his band to you. And hopefully he plays something live. If you're on True Social, you've seen me post his new song, and it's just my favorite. I think it's my hero. It is really beautiful. So finally, that will be my guest. I actually have a guest on next Sunday as we are celebrating Father's Day. And then Friday, everyone, I always have guests come on too. I've had a run of artists. I can't wait for you to see the next one. I'm waiting on confirmation of that. I might have to switch a few up, but please just look at my post. You guys will see who I have coming up. But we have some dates that might be in conflict for her, and I just have to switch two around. But I will let you guys know in the social media who that artist is. I hope to have her come on this Friday. If not, it'll be the following Friday. And worst case scenario, we have a date night again. And by the way, speaking of that, you can find an episode that I did called Date Night Ideas. And I encourage you to look at that. It was so much fun to do that with my husband. And we got through 50 of the 100 suggested ones. Most of them are free. So last night we put up the screen outside and we loaded the projector and we watched a movie outside. The weather was so beautiful, in the lawn chairs, in the grass, right? Watching a movie outside, eating our popcorn. It was just changing the environment from being stuck inside the house to being outside. We could have had a campfire, a little one if we wanted to. You could have made it romantic if you wanted to. We ended up watching Maverick. It was a pretty good movie. It was nice to see something different, right? And just have a good time. And so it just different. There were 50 different ways to have, date ideas where most of them, like I said, were free ideas, and were really, really unique. So that was a lot of fun. And so if you are doing any of those date nights, throw them in my chats. Let me know what you've done and how it worked out, or recommend something so I can recommend it to my viewers. But that was a good one. So we're not going to be cooking anything next one. The following Sunday we will. We'll get back to our gardening as I'm harvesting them. Eating strawberries and tomatoes are coming out right now. Very excited to start getting that. I've had lettuce already come out. And you guys know that I was struggling with the garden, but I got it going well. Started doing the above ground thing, worked a lot better for my area. So it's my pleasure, everyone, to bring what I can do from my house to yours. It also is a pleasure to run a school, a nationwide private school. There's multiple reasons I had to do that, because I didn't want to have to mandate you or follow certain kind of curriculum. I just wanted to provide foundational great education, and we're doing it. So we're enrolling now. We're starting on year 3 of HLA coming this fall, and I look forward to hearing from everyone. Again, if you have anything that you want to have a business or something, please just put it into the comments or reach out to me on social medias. I cannot wait to hear. And thank you again, everyone, for your likes, your follows, your kind words, your views. Without you guys, I wouldn't be here, right? You're making my day. I'm getting more and more views on my shows. I truly appreciate you for that. Share it out with your friends and get the word out. I always love to finish with a song, and it's usually a song that makes me cry. So that's why you guys never see me tell you goodbye. I always tell you goodbye beforehand, because, again, listening to our youth sing just brings such a tenderness in my heart. There's only one flaw with the video I'm going to show you. It was during COVID, so most of the kids have masks on. I'm probably going to reach out to the school to ask them to do a new version so we can see their beautiful faces. But it has turned out to be one of my most favorite songs, as I really have focused. That's my hill I'm going to die on, our youth, and they need us. So I look forward to see you guys on Friday. And next Sunday, remember, you can see me Friday night at 7 p.m., same channel. And you can also see me again next Sunday as we celebrate our fathers. So I will see you guys then. Let me load up this beautiful song. And again, I hope you have the most blessed. Go out and visit your neighbor. Say hello to your family. Be the reason somebody else today. And blessed. Because you know what? You're never alone. God loves you. And I just love you too. I love you being here. And thank you for sharing your Sunday with me. Let me add that to our screen.
That you can.
There we go. Yeah, don't use them. Shop local, everyone. Support your local. All right, everyone, have the most blessed Sunday, and I will see you next week.
There comes a time when we hiss and call, when the world must come together as one. There are people dying, and it's time to lend a hand to life, the greatest gift of all. We can go on pretending day by day that someone somehow will soon make a change. We are all a part of God's great big family, and the truth, you know, love is all we need. We are the world, we are the children, we are the ones who make a brighter day, so let's start giving. There's a choice we're making, we're saving our own lives. It's you who make a better day, just you and me. Well, sing from your heart, so that another someone cares, so the cries for help will not be in vain. We can't let them suffer. No, we cannot turn away. Right now, they need a helping hand. We are the world. We are the children. We are the ones who make a better day, so let's start giving. There's a choice we're making. We're saving our own lives. It's you who make a better day, just you and me. When you're down and out, and there seems no hope at all, but if you just believe, there's no way we can fall. Well, let us realize, that a change can only come when we stand together as one. As one. We are the world. We are the children. We are the ones who make a brighter day, so let's start giving. There's a choice When the floor breaks, a magic carpet to stand on. We are the world united by love so strong. When the radio isn't on, you can hear the songs. A guiding light on the dark road you're walking on. A signpost to find the dreams you thought was gone. Someone to help you with the obstacles you stumbled on. Someone to help you rebuild after the road was gone. We are the world connected by a common bond. Love, the whole planet singing along. Nosotros somos el mundo. We are the children. We are the ones. Let's start giving. Let's start giving. We're saving our lives. It's true, make a better day. Just you and me. It's true, we make a better day. Just you and me.